My name's Gemma O'Connor. I'm Head of HR Advisory at BrightHR. With AI accessibility increasing, more and more businesses are using AI tools to write HR policies, contracts and handbooks. It's fast, it's cheap, but it's also risky. To investigate the risks of using AI in HR, we asked an AI tool to write us a HR policy. We used the prompt, "Write me an absence policy," which states that after the third absence, employees will be issued a formal warning. Here's my reaction to the policy written by AI. When I initially look at the policy, when you look at the headings, you think, yes, it hits all of the key points. But when you actually read the content underneath the heading, there's a lot of, crucial pieces of information that is missing from the policy itself. For example, in relation to reporting absence, the policy refers to employees notifying their manager as soon as possible if they are unable to attend work. I would always advise employers to specify within the policy what the required time frame is. You know yourself, if you have an employee that is unwell or has called in sick to work, perhaps due to a vomiting bug, they may have been up all night, and in their mind the earliest opportunity was 11:30 when you were expecting them at 9 o'clock. So I think to specify within the policy that contact should be made at least by your designated start time is always a good starting point. You know, when I look at the prompt that was given, yes, write me an absence policy, you would expect that that would hit the key points, but it doesn't. It's literally just taken the words that we've given it and transposed that into a policy. It's essentially done exactly what we asked of it, but it hasn't looked at the broader picture. We have got a section in the policy in relation to a formal warning threshold, and that specifies that after the third absence, employees will be issued with a formal warning if that's 3 absences within a rolling 12-month period. That's not always going to be the case. Yes, employers may have trigger points to make employees aware of what constitutes excessive or high levels of absence. But prior to taking any disciplinary action, employees are entitled to a full, fair and thorough procedure. And when you look at this policy and the wording contained within it, it just simply says the employee will be issued with a formal warning. So if an employer is taking the content of the policy quite literally and just handing employees a formal warning or having a meeting without giving them advance notice, if it gets to a point perhaps where an employer is looking to dismiss an employee having progressed through various levels of warning, because fair procedures weren't followed, it will 100% leave the employer exposed to employment law tribunals. To improve the policy, I would definitely be more specific in terms of the requirement for reporting absences, timeframes, who we should contact, perhaps in the absence of their manager. So if their manager is on annual leave, for example, who else do they contact? And the notification or the reporting procedures, we don't specify if text messages are acceptable. In my opinion, it should always be a phone call, and pick up the phone, discuss the reason for your absence with your manager and let them know that you're not coming in. So I think highlighting that text messages or notification via a third party, such as a colleague, aren't acceptable is really important to put in there. There are some more pieces that I would add in, and you also want to make sure that the policy is in line with your other policies and procedures. So the language, the tone used throughout fits what you have in place already, and that it's consistent across the business. The points in relation to this policy don't just apply to an absence management policy, they apply to all policies and procedures that you would request an AI tool to generate for you. From an employment law perspective, you need to be consistent and you need to be concise in the information that you're sharing with your employees, and you need to make sure that it's in line with legislation and in line with custom and practice within your business. I think AI being used in HR is definitely a positive. It can support us working smarter, but we have to be cautious in the same manner. I think that the use of AI, while it can benefit, it can also create problems down the line as well if we're not careful in its usage. And from, I suppose, a decision-making perspective, if we're relying on AI tools to make decisions, perhaps through a recruitment process, is that AI tool being mindful of any discriminatory practices? So Yes, I think it's a positive, but we need to be careful in how we use it and make sure that anyone that is using AI within the business has the appropriate training and awareness in how to use it within the company. At BrightHR, we're embracing AI by carefully integrating it across our platform, giving businesses a safe, secure way to use AI in their processes while keeping the human at the heart of HR.